episode of the All In interview, I'm really excited to be joined by, back to All In, Harvard professor Graham Allison. Professor Allison, welcome back to All In.
Thanks for having me.
We last had you at the summit in Los Angeles, so it's great to have a conversation. A lot's happened since we last got together. For the audience, Graham Allison is the founding dean of the Harvard Kennedy School. He's advised every Secretary of Defense since Kissinger. He's helped dismantle 12,000 Soviet nuclear weapons, and his book, Destined for War, remains the definitive framework for understanding the U.S.-China relationship. I think it's worth kind of bringing forward some of the things that have happened in the world since we last met. I'm going all in. It's the single platform / all is dead, but the regime is still holding on to power. Where do you think this conflict will take us, and are we sleepwalking into World War III?
Well, thank you again for having me back. We'll have a great podcast. I enjoyed the summit, and I'm sorry we're not there in person to catch up, but I think about Iran, how much to say, so this could be a long lecture. Let me just see if I finally got it. First point is that there's more questions than answers. So there's a huge level of uncertainty currently about what's happening and about what's likely to happen. Part of this is process is this fog of war, but there's a fog of war that's actually increased because we got two big fog machines adding to the confusion. Namely Trump and the administration on the one hand, and Bibi on the other. And then we got all the chattering class around it. So I would say, why did Trump decide to go to war now? And there's 6 different reasons he and the administration have given, and each one they back around. What's the objective? There's 5 different objectives, back it around. And when is this war going to end? A day, a week, a month, who knows? So it's very uncomfortable to recognize how uncertain things are. And most of the conversation about it tries to make it more confident. I think the place to start is a huge amount of uncertainty. Having said that, I'll still give you my prejudices about a few of the points. Point 2, this has been an extraordinary demonstration of supreme military power and supreme intelligence power. U.S. military and the intelligence community and the Israeli counterparts have been way, way, way off the charts. And I think this should make all Americans proud of what's been built over this decade, 2 decades of investment, but especially the past decade. Third point, there's no tears to be shed for Khamenei and Islamic Republic regime. It's an evil leader, an evil regime. It's no bad thing that could happen to them that we shouldn't be cheering out of that. The next point, though, breaking something's a lot easier than building something. And destroying targets is something that our military knows very well how to do. Building a new regime change, is something that we know historically doesn't work very well. At least in Iraq and Afghanistan, we had every word said that's been said in this case, and we then went in all in and spent more than $1 billion on many thousands of American lives. And when we went to Afghanistan, the Taliban were ruling. When we left Afghanistan, the Taliban were ruling. So I would say, unfortunately, it's against a backdrop that's hard. The next point, slightly more controversial, but I think this is Bibi's war. If your reader or your listeners don't remember Moby Dick, they should go look at it again. Ahab had this obsession with the white whale and tried to find a way to kill the white whale whenever he could. For the last 2 decades, that's been Bibi's number 1, number 2, number 3 agenda. He's tried to sell that war to Obama, to Trump 1, to Biden, and now he succeeded in mesmerizing Trump, who I thought had his number. I was surprised. So I'm pro-Israel, but anti-Bibi in this respect. And I think that I understand he's brilliant politically, but I don't think this, the arguments that were made that that Trump has actually repeated that Iran was about to attack us. I see no evidence for that. That Iran was about to get a nuclear weapon. I see no evidence for that. That Iran was building an ICBM that was going to attack the U.S. I see no evidence for that. There's many, many bad things about the Iranian regime, but not most of the claims that were made. So I look at this and I hope it turns out well, but I remember that in wars, very frequently it's easy to get in and it's quite difficult to get out.
Let me double click on that point. You mentioned there's multiple reasons that the administration has messaged for doing this, multiple views on what success looks like, multiple timelines on ending it, and that this is Bibi's war. How do you think Trump was motivated to do this? What is the real motivation? And I will ask this in the context of the big delegation and visit to China coming up next month. Is Trump motivated fundamentally to create leverage with China and use this as a tool to try and maximize his negotiating leverage going into the Chinese negotiations?
That's a great question. And I wish that the answer was this was all part of a grand strategy. That would make me feel hugely better. But I try to do Trumpology, and I was actually having dinner last night with Bill O'Reilly, a former student, who I think is one of the better Trumpologists for trying to interpret, and we were going back and forth through this. It's easy enough to see why the window, tactically, the window in which this attack occurred was chosen, because here you got the supreme leader and 40 of the other leaders of Iran out in public, so that's an opportunity as a target. I think the best opportunity that's come along. The question is, why would you be attacking them? And especially Trump, given his campaign and his previous views about not repeating the mistakes of the people that took us into endless, windless wars. And I think I think Bibi is a magician. I think his single-mindedness is impressive. I think his agility in making arguments and developing arguments is impressive. How he managed to persuade Trump this was a good idea for the U.S. now, I don't have a good idea. And I think that if I listen to the reasons why even the people closest around him have given, or that Trump have given, they don't seem persuasive. Now, partly Trump is erratic. Partly he sort of acts on the basis of instincts. Somehow it came to him that this was something that could be done. I think actually Bibi painted a pretty the upside of this picture, if it's successful, and I hope now that we've got into it, it would be redefining security in the Middle East for a generation. So getting rid of the Iranian regime as the Bibi and company have gotten rid of the proxies of the regime earlier, which again, since October 7th, been extremely impressive. You could say, well, there's going to be a whole new Middle East. And if the Middle East were all like the UAE, that would be fantastic. Fantastic for all the human beings that live there. So I think maybe he got excited by the upside, not quite careful enough about the risks or the downside. Because the number of ways in which this could go wrong, if we woke up tomorrow or today and a couple of ships have been sunk or a couple of hundred of Americans have been killed, this is going to have a very different image.
And you think that this is independent then of the action with Maduro and independent of the big delegation headed to China for a big negotiation next month?
Well, I wouldn't say entirely independent. I would think with Maduro, so Trump, I think this is my armchair Trumpology, but I would say initially he thought tariffs were a magic wand. And every leader thinks if you have a magic wand, that's fantastic. He's tried the tariff magic wand and discovered it didn't quite have all the effects that he imagined on Liberation Day. He then discovered the American military, which genuinely is a huge wand. And the Maduro operation was just spectacular. I mean, again, it's a military and intelligence operation. Brilliant. No other country in the world could even imagine doing something like that. And that actually, makes all of us stand taller. It can also provide a little, or historically encourages hubris and an imagination that this magic wand can work in many other arenas. I don't mind at all the proposition that every other country should take account of the fact that the U.S. has the most remarkable military and intelligence community in the world. And that's not a bad backdrop for China and for a China trip. So I agree that things may not be completely disconnected, but I think in terms of the timing, I mean, right now, when is the war going to be over? If you talk about 3 or 4 weeks, he'll be in China on March 29. So my inclination, again, if we were just doing prediction markets, is that he's going to find a way to declare this over before then, because he needs a little time to get his mind set on that. But if you ask the folks at the Defense Department, or if you ask the people in Israel, they're thinking this is another month or beyond as a war. So again, just things I don't think are quite, in sync.
Jason joined us.
Professor Allison, it's always a treat to have
Nice
you
to
on.
see you.
Nice to see you. It's amazing to have you on here and to give us this time. If things were to go extremely well and Iran went from a monarchy to a dictatorship and now in this third act here in modern day to a democracy, and you actually had a democracy with 93 million citizens in the Middle East, what impact would that have on the region? We've seen the Gulf monarchies evolve human rights, but they're still monarchies. You have one other, I guess, democracy in the region in Israel, but this could be extraordinary if it was a democracy. But what would that mean to the global chessboard?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, if this could occur, it would be spectacular. But I would say this is way, way, way too ambitious. There's 100 things that would be wonderful outcomes, better than what's likely, that would be short of that. I remember in Iraq, after Bush failed to find nuclear weapons, which was the initial, I would say, somewhat cooked up rationale for our going into Iraq, Condi Rice, who was the secretary, gave a speech about how wonderful it'll be when Iraq is a democracy and market economy, quote, radiating stability through the Middle East. So we're pretty good at doing I Have a Dream, in that version. I think that's a way, way, way stretch. I would be very happy with a regime there that simply was not about building nuclear weapons, was not about building missiles that threaten the U.S. and our friends and allies in the region, and not about supporting proxies. And if it's a pretty cruel regime, unfortunately, that's unfortunate for the Iranian people. The Persian people, I'm a student of history. I love Persia. I remember Cyrus, and I remember the Peloponnesian War. I remember, this is a fantastic culture in history. They've been hijacked by a terrible, terrible group of people. And if those people can be somehow ousted, wonderful for Iranian people and wonderful for the world. If I were betting it, again, I'd say go back to the first point. The questions, uncertainty, finding signals in the noise, extremely difficult. But if I were betting it, it'll end up that the guys with the guns will, in some version, be the next iteration. And if they're tamer and less determined to threaten our interests, will this have been worth it? Well, again, we'll have to look at, over the longer run. I think the other thing that we know about wars is that they're unpredictable and that they have many unanticipated consequences. I think as we watch what's happening now and see what impact does that have on oil and gas prices, predictable, so you can see, and going and going. Well, what impact does that have on other countries? Huge. So the number of countries now whose economies are being disrupted by this impact, and therefore blaming us for it. I had a call from someone in Taiwan yesterday saying, wait a minute, did anybody think what it's doing for us? Since they get about half of their but they're electric.
People don't like my videos. Apparently they're annoying.
So we call Kitover upstairs. And
not done. He's not about trickery. Plan. So I got you. No magic. No defying the laws of nature. No defying the laws of nature. No magic. I got you. You're compelled to interrupt.
Yeah, I'm compelled because what you're doing is, Hans, is you're overtaking. No, but you're doing all this stuff. You're doing all this stuff. Okay, go ahead.
Violet's wife told him, "Don't you dare! This is a good man. Don't you have anything to do with his death?" Pilate went out of his way. He went out of his way to make the Jews responsible, right?
Okay.
And then he deceived, just like the Quran says.
White families, to be sure, but it is going to be in the hands of women. I think we are going to see a different type of candidate that is going to be. So imagine if we had more Mackenzie Bezoses than we did, Miriam Adelsons that are, over all of these billions of dollars. That's all I'm saying. So I think it's gonna change the landscape.
that W is back in the house.
All right, period.
Who's calling?
Not the W.
If it turned out that Torto was a man, would you still be into it?
No, I'm not interested in that.
Well, luckily that's not the case because
Hey, Daddy! Hey, Daddy, I'm hungry for some raw milk, Daddy.
Okay, well, buckle in.
Yeah, well, strap in, buckle in.
John Kitover. What's your thought about knowing what Abby looks like now?
You saw my response video, right?
But can you tell everyone in the room?
You don't want to know. It's too shocking to hear.
What do you mean?
What did you thought she would be in your head? Like, what did you imagine?
Yeah, what's
Well,
the intention?
When I think of someone who's fully evolved as opposed to like a Cro-Magnon, see, we are Homo sapiens or Homo sapiens. But when I see an under-evolved Cro-Magnon looking hybrid, sometimes it makes me, respond in a certain way, which, people are maybe upset by. And I try not to upset people when they hear me react to what I saw.
Well, I believe that they should be slaughtered and taken out of existence.
Wesley! Oh my God, Wesley. What's wrong with you?
No, there are human beings on this planet that honestly
That are so unattractive that they should be murdered?
pretty much.
Oh my God. That's messed up. That's really
Wesley, you call yourself an American?
That's my position.
Hey, where's that horrible noise? Who's playing the fucking...
Is that you,
John
I
Kitover?
believe that only
Who's playing the cowbell?
beautiful human beings should be allowed to propagate this planet.
Wesley, that's a lot. So, John, what was your exact reaction when you saw it?
Well, I was also a little shocked by seeing Yael's pussy and her fake tits, as well as her lips and tongue saying all types of horrible, slutty, wonderfully sexual things. And when I contrasted that with the she-wolf type hybrid creature that I came across with the plucked eyebrows and the bangs from hell and the tan that never was, I realized that even if you're a PhD, but you still look like you came from World War III, like nuclear fallout, mutations alone aren't responsible for human evolution. It's actually antisocial behavior which creates evolutionary bridges in the history of mankind. Wesley, please, gold is... Wesley, Wes. Oh, okay. All right. I thought you were going to interrupt me and say that what I was saying was inaccurate, but thank you for confirming. This is gold. I'll be here all night.
I believe that they should be taken out of society.
Alpha, are you here?
Thank God, I want this bitch to listen.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay, good.
Like Leslie, let's let Kitover finish his thought.
So I'm cooking here, and let me tell you, when I take parsley, or I take oregano, or I take cardamom, or I take a little curry, and I mix it up and I make a paste, and then I look at it and I say, what would I call that if I were to put like slap that on my bread as a dip, or like coat my chicken? Let's just call it Abby paste. And you know, the first cosmetic that was commercially successful was inspired by the Abby paste. The Abby paste is a little bit like a regurgitation, meaning that have you ever puked and then realized that everything you eat turns into a paste and then it turns into your poop? And so when I think of what a fart is, generally, it's air passing over a turd. And what's so important to know is on this app, as somebody pointed out to me on my YouTube live recently, if you fart, will you shit your pants? And that is the question here, ladies and gentlemen, because everyone is going through the same door, the same bridge, the same gateway to the next level of this life we call game. I mean, this game we call life. And so if you fart,
Bless you.
will you shit your pants? And I personally think burps are grosser than farts. Because a fart...
Answer a fucking question.
Well, I believe that if you're farting and burping, all systems are go. Your body is functioning.
What the fuck is that noise?
I feel like John Kitover kind of lost his train of thought and just started kind of saying whatever.
That was gold. I'll be here all night.
Did you see your telegram?
I kind of was interested in like what you thought she was going to look like. Like, who did you think
Yes,
she was
I'm
going
looking
to be?
for it.
Well, I never envisioned in my worst nightmares that she would look like a hybrid cat creature from the movie The Children Under the Stairs. But, you know, it's always unknown. Sometimes you think you're like a cute little tulip living in some mountain place where they cook, you know, goats and camels in the mountains and then feed the meat to the children. But when I think of what it could have been versus what was, it is so shocking, so revolting, so physically upsetting that I literally let out a scream of utter horror and terror at the image that I saw before me. Because when I think about what that cute little bunny is, or what that cute little tiny Furby creature is, or any other of the cutesy little pictures, and then when I saw what was behind that cute little PTR, what a cute thing. I get back to my PTSD. It's affecting my well-being just thinking about that image again. What was that thing? What was it? Oh God, was it alive? Was that thing actually alive? That mutant hybrid creature? Was it some type of CIA UFO experiment hybridization creature? What two people made such a thing?
So John, the question is, if she was a nice person, would you have viewed her differently?
It's okay.
Well, I believe that if people are barping and farting, all systems
We know,
are go.
Wesley, we know.
Georgia, what's on your mind? I'm looking for the picture for Edie. Oh, Abby.
If we bring you up, are you gonna?
Have you not seen her?
No.
Oh, okay. I might. Only I just sent it. Oh,
So let me ask you this: do you think ugly people in society actually modify their behavior in order to come in more in alignment with their beauty, standards or position?
I mean, the way, come on, but you exaggerated very much. If she was a nice person, you would not think any of those things you just said.
Well, I'm literally doing a routine for the sake of, the audience
but I
here.
mean, she's not ugly at all.
No, I'm sure on her best, Friday, Saturday night, if the feeling's right, she looks great, But I mean, that's after like 2 or 3 gin and tonics. And also, the moon can't be out. There can't be any light out there. It's got to be dark and mysterious. And sequence, a lot of sequence to sell that.
Wait, who are you talking about?
Somebody probably doesn't go to the gym.
Oh my goodness, bro.
It's so confusing nowadays. I go on Hinge and I, swipe right, and then it turns out there's all these men that dress up as women, and I'm like, how in the world does Hinge allow men to identify as women when those are clearly all men dressed up as women? I filed a class action lawsuit to demand that men stop presenting themselves as women because they're just too goddamn beautiful, huh?
That would have happened when you become Congressman, but that will never happen.
Oh, I also saw your photos as well, Bussy. I was also equally repulsed and shocked. I thought you were black. Turns out you're a faggot Mexican. I couldn't believe it. I had no idea. I always thought you were black.
Forever.
I thought you were black. Couldn't believe it. You're an LGBTQ narco terrorist. We gotta bomb you with a fucking Hegseth IUD.
I'm a trans woman.
You're the most dangerous hybridization creature. See, most people don't know what change in trans really means. I saw a black man on the street once and he was screaming, "Got any change? Got any change?" Nowadays, you can't even ask for change. You gotta ask for gold coins. Here on Clown House, the new economy, the parallel society you've all been looking for. Anyways, what I'm trying to say here is that, Torta is the ultimate spy agent, the ultimate information gatherer here. And I want to thank you for finally sending me Yael's titty photos. Wow. Bravo, sir. Finally, one man who could achieve what seemed to be impossible. Wow. And those were some glorious looking titties.
AJ sent me, so it's AJ technically.
Wow. Full vagina. I mean, you could tell that.
And Tony sent it. Actually, Tony's the one who sent it to me, not AJ.
How did people get those in the first place?
Tony sent it. Yarel's pornographic pictures and videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't listen to him, Gold.
I'm not her.
Tony, Tony, what's it like being such a repulsive, virulent, anti-Semite, piece of white trash or Hispanic, biracial, Latino trash, whatever you are? Do you wax your mustache or do you shave it or trim it? How do you get rid of your facial fluff?
I wax it.
You wax your mustache? Do any of the ladies here also wax their mustache?
Yeah, twice a week.
Oh, because I was dating a beautiful girl once and I saw some hairs on her chin. And I said, you know what? This relationship's over. I'm going to Israel. I'm going to go to Tel Aviv. I'm dumping this fat, disgusting American, this liberal fat slob. I'm going to Israel where there are confirmed killers walking the streets.
I don't blame you.
Sexy.
Honestly,
I got to go for a 10-mile jog. I just killed 15 Palestinians in an airstrike. What? Wow, baby, let's go to dinner tonight. Have you guys ever been to Israel? Hello?
I have.
It's amazing going through the airport. It's so exhilarating. Who's your rabbi? Who's my rabbi? What? Hello? You got to identify at the airport who your favorite rabbis are. But anyways, back to the DNA. I know COVID-19 spawned a lot of mutant creatures, but I had no idea that one of them was amongst us. From when all the UFO and the alien, conspiracy theorists, they know a lot of things, but King Nav is here. King Nav was probably also equally repulsed at the hybridization creature we discovered behind all those cutesy little bunny photos. What is that thing? Did you tattoo your eyebrows on? Oh my God! What happened to your skin? Ooh! You can't touch your toes. You're a blob. You are a human blob. You're like McDonald's in a box. So we're live on TikTok right now. We've got 1,300 live viewers. It's incredible. Our TikTok has exploded in popularity, all because of Clown House and my multi-studio recording efforts. We're averaging over 2,000 views a minute. Google has just wired us our monthly bread and butter for $14,000 because of you beautiful AI people. All the data that we're feeding in. That Mormon NSA.
Did you get finally going to a private room?
Hello?
Oh, no, Droids. Thanks, though, for the invite.
Do your TikTok viewers have any favorite characters? Any favorite Clubhouse characters?
Well, definitely Alpha. Our favorite. I don't know. Let me ask Abby.
These people don't know me.